Welcome back. This is an Aleks homework video on deducing the ions in a polyatomic ionic compound from its empirical formula. So this is more practice on using polyatomic ions. So if you see a formula, you can remember that you're always going to have a neutral compound. So whatever the cation is and whatever the anion is going to be equal to each other. So if you have subscripts, you can deduce its original charges based upon your knowledge that it cancels each other out. So this is, again, just more practice. So let's look at this. I've got sodium chloride done for us. Sodium chloride, sodium is the cation, always will be the cation in the first. Chlorine will always be, or the second will always be the anion. So anything from the representative elements you should know by what column it's in. So sodium is in column 1, it's positive 1. Chlorine is in group 7, so it's negative 1. And anytime you have representatives, it's from your memory. So the next one, I've got vanadium, which is one of the transition elements, and I've got oxygen. Vanadium, remember, I'm not going to be able to know. I have to figure that out based upon the oxygen. So I'm going to start with here, oxygen. It's in group 6. That means it would steal 2 to be like group 8, and so it's going to have a charge of negative 2. The vanadium then has to be balanced to that. So this is going to be vanadium positive 2. So when you name it, it's going to be vanadium 2 oxide. Okay. Here's the first one, or the only one that's polyatomic that's positive, and that's ammonium. I've got 2 ammoniums. Ammonium is negative 1, so I've got 2 negative 1s, and 1 sulfur is in group 6, so it must be negative 2. So this is S, 2 minus, and then this has to be NH4, positive 1. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing here? These are not balanced anymore. This is what the natural cation would be. This is what the anion would be. I'm going backwards from an empirical formula back to the ions that make it up. Okay, so iodide is in group. It's a representative element, so it's in group 7. So this is negative 1. And then manganese has to balance with 3 negative 1, so this must be manganese 3. Okay, the last one, called cobalt sulfate. Sulfate is your polyatomic ion, SO4. You memorize it. SO4 is negative 2. Sulfate's negative 2. Cobalt then has to balance with the negative 2, so it's going to be cobalt positive 2. So this is a kind of a how you doing kind of practice of using the stuff that you're learning. Okay, I hope you're doing well.